All right, hey YouTube, welcome back. This is part 4 of the Empyrion Survival, Galactic Survival Beginner's Guide. So, when I was in between videos, I got in a few fights, which is where those few things came from, the different ships, and I found a Prometheum asteroid, and I got some copper, silicon, iron, and I also found a cobalt asteroid, which isn't really useful yet, but we'll get there. So I'm going to put all this stuff in there, and I'm going to start working towards this base that I would like to build. Now, there's a couple of options here. This one is kind of it's going to be a farm, which might be a good one to build. But I like this Blue Moon base for a starter because it has all its guns and stuff. It's got a gun on each corner. You can barely see that one back there. And so anyway, it needs 2 growing plots concrete. It needs 72 carbon substrate, a lot of stone dust, and not too much of these other things. So we are going to start that producing, and then we're going to go mess around. And the other thing I'm going to start producing is so we needed where did it go? Sorry about that. We needed carbon substrate and we need stone dust first. And so as not to accidentally, like I said earlier, use up all my stone, I'm going to make those 2 first. But I also need this concrete. So let's see. I thought I remembered. I guess I should have checked this before. Let's see. Nope. There we go. So we have, oh no, it's not done making that. Darn it. All right. I'm going to let it make these if it can. And also going to start making some of those other items. So we want to make I think it was only a few. Let me look real quick so I don't mess up. I don't want to waste all my materials and then not get what I need. So I need 72 carbon substrate and 2,000 stone dust. So let's start there. The constructor. So I have only 3 carbon substrate. This makes 20 at a time. I'm going to make 4 of those. And then 2,000 stone dust. This makes 20 at a time. So I'm going to make, you're going to have to make 100 to get 2,000, I think, if I'm doing my math right. So we'll just let that roll. And you can see that's pretty fast. And then I need 430 iron ingots, 308 silicone, and 162 copper. So let's get that going. 430 iron. Let's see. I only have 4 right now, so we're going to make 10, 20, 30, 4, and let's make 45 of those. And this was 300, I believe, so let's go ahead and make 36 of those. And the silicone, I'm going to hit tab and double check. No, that was the one that was 300, but that's okay. We'll use the copper later, so I'm going to make 300 silicone. I'm sorry. Yeah, 300 silicone in the constructor. So let's go ahead and, whoops, 40. Let's make 35 of those, and that'll give us some extra. So all that is cooking right along. Let's check on our gas containers here because I'm sure we're running low on fuel in some places or another. All right, so that's still making. I'm going to put another 100 going there. Those are making right now. It only made 4. What am I missing? Oh, you know what I'm missing is water bottles. Let's make 5 more of those before we do anything. All right, so the reason I'm making those is because when the base is built, we're going to make a nice little protein garden, and then we're not going to have to go running around and look for protein everywhere. So that will be a good thing. So I'm going to go ahead and get that started as well. Those are right here, concrete plots. I'm going to tell it to make all 9 because by the time I get everything in there, I think it's going to be, I won't, in other words, it won't get to constructing it till I get the rest of the stuff in there. So we should be just fine. Let this one go. Make 2 more. All right, then I'm going to go back to just letting it make biofuel. So put that in there. And all right, so that's going to take care of itself. Should be pretty much everything we need when it gets done to put in here. So let's go to the factory and make sure. Whoops. All right, so grab. I want the carbon substrate and the stone dust for sure. And I'll just let that finish making. One thing you can do is take the steel plates and stuff from the fights that we got in, and we can pick a much bigger. I'm going to take this stuff. All right, let's see what that does. So I'm going to make or pick a much bigger object in the factory, like the library and a ship. And the biggest ship that we've got is this E4 cruiser, which we can't even come close to making yet, but we can dump all this stuff in here. I think that won't take that, so I'll have to wait till I get back to the base. But anyway, we're going to dump all of the junk that we've gotten from fighting drones in there. And then we're going to go back to the library, back to the bases, back to the Blue Moon base, and you can see that we got credit for some of the iron ingots and stuff already by dropping that stuff in there. So then we can put this in. I still need 6 more stone dust. All right, we're good on carbon substrate. And we need to tell it to make a little more stone dust. Not much, so that much. And it, I'll let that just sit there and finish making all those things. So, alrighty, so I've got all of the items. I do want to point out I made 9 concrete plots, all right, and you don't want to drop all 9 in the factory because we're going to have to manually put them in later, so you would have to make them again. So just put the 2 that it's asking for. There's the rest of the stone dust, hopefully. Yep, that'll do it. Got copper, I've got iron, I've got, or I'm sorry, silicone and then iron. And now we are ready to start production. Now that's going to take quite a while, but we're going to mess around and work on some stuff while that's going. One thing I want to point out, make sure that you keep these O2 bottles on you when you go into space so that you can shift and right click on them just like the food, so that you're getting your oxygen. And that leads me to what's sort of going to be our next step. We are going to build in these small vessels. We can't do it right now, but while that's messing around, I like this one right here, this level 7, this Ascalon Cobalt Moon, and there's a couple reasons for that. So if we decide to go with the jump ship to get around, so I'll explain that a little bit. So right now we're on this planet, or you're on whatever planet you're on. And in this map right here, there is no possible way for me to get to this in the spaceships that I have. You have to have some kind of a jump ship, all right? And the stuff that we're going to need is, so this is a great example. This particular asteroid belt has iron meteors, copper, it has silicone, it also has magnesium, which we haven't seen yet, cobalt, which I got out in space, neodymium, which our local area will not have probably. As promethium, it has ice, which we don't really need for ship production, and it has titanium. Now, titanium we'll be able to get on the moon here, which we're going to need very shortly. But this is one option, is to make this cobalt moon, and there's 2 good reasons for it. Right about here somewhere, you can't really see it from this picture, is an oxygen port. So when you're out in space and you need to refill your oxygen, you can just go right up to that, and even if you were all the way down to 2 oxygen, it's going to fill it all the way up. Now it is going to take that from your oxygen reserve, so just the same as this ship, you need to go into your P control panel and make sure you're always keeping that oxygen reserve topped up. But at the same time, it's a little bit more convenient than shift right click and waiting for the next opportunity to be able to do that again. So that is going to be my preferred method. And on top of that, like I said, if we decide to go with the jump ship, the ship that we built already will not attach to it. It has to have a closer landing gear. So we're going to end up attaching a ship right there. That may be one way we go. And I'm also kind of thinking about, there's this ship right here, and you can see all of this stuff that it's going to need. All right, we haven't even seen these things yet. So it needs neodymium, and it needs astrium and zirconium, which those aren't too, that's not a whole lot of that. And the sathium as well, it's not too bad. Now, the neodymium, we're probably going to have to build a jump ship because it would take a long time to get that much any other way. So we need to find, like I showed, we need to go out into this part of space with that little jump ship, and there's going to be a there's magnesium. One of these places within our atmosphere, within our reach, with a jump ship should have there's a neodymium asteroid. So we'll be able to jump over there and get that, and come back and then work towards building a bigger ship. So that's I'm just kind of killing some time right now because in our current build we still have 32 minutes. So I'm just kind of talking through the strategy that I'm using to get us a little further along. Anyway, so the next thing that I like to do while I'm waiting, this isn't building anything right now, so that's good. And we're going to come in here and I'm going to build about 5 cores, which is going to take a little while. And the reason I'm going to build the cores is if we go over here to this wreck right here, and I start taking it apart with the the multi-tool, and if you right click you can repair your ship, you can salvage stuff, you can upgrade, but what we're going to try to do is retrieve blocks, because if you just salvage, you see there I got steel plate, and pretty much without the core, that's all you're ever going to get is steel plates. Every once in a while you'll get a block, but we're going to put okay, that was pretty quick. So that's a heck of a lot quicker. If you remember when we were doing the salvage mode on the survival tool, it takes forever, right? So that is why I went out and spent a lot of time trying to get these 2 tools. The other thing I'm doing real quick is digging a little bit to see if there's any other blocks. Okay, there's nothing else underground. Looks like, fortunately, let's see if it'll work, we're going to be able to shave off a lot of time on that base build by sleeping. So seems to be time came right up, and yes, it's going to let me sleep. And that factory is done building the base. So that looks right there like a pretty good spot, actually. It's kind of hard to so again, just like with the ship, we pick the completed item, hit the spawn button, and we're going to try and put it right about there. And that looked like it turned out okay. Now, you can see some of it's covered by dirt, but that'll be easy to fix right quick. So I'm going to go ahead. I am going to take a lot of this stuff out of our storage container right here and move it right over there. Pretty much everything that I can. So I might be able to grab it all in one trip. Again, if you had the weight limitations set in the game, making it a little more difficult, you would not be able to do this, but for right now, that's not how I'm doing things. So fly the ship over there. And the great thing about this is I can land right on top. And it'll actually, that's the sound of it locking down. And I'm going to turn that off. And we got some elevators in here. This base is really kind of cool because it's already ready to go with a lot of the stuff we need to be successful. So, gonna get a good start. Let's see, I went the wrong way right away. Alright, so let's put most of the junk in here. So that, not that. I'm gonna go ahead and put the medical stuff in there, the 2 hats, the 4. I'm gonna keep that on me just in case I need more bandages. Alright, got all this good stuff in here. Now, one nice thing is we automatically got upgraded from a regular constructor to a large constructor when we built this base. So if you hit F, you can see right here up at the top it's a large constructor. I am going to pick cargo box number 4 because it's the closest one to it. And I'm also, let's see if I, whoops, I think I had a little bit of fuel, and so we can get this base started. Yeah, that's not a lot. Well, look at there. I've got that right there. So this is going to be great. So our fuel tanks are right here. They did a good job with the generator. Put that there and this here. And now you can see the base is up and running. The generators are right up there. That's kind of cool. Here's our constructor. The first thing I'm going to tell it to do is start making us some 15mm rounds to the tune of about 50, which will make a lot. And that way, when that gets done, here's where that goes. We put our ammunition right in that box. I'm going to put the fuel back so I don't forget about it. I'm going to come over here real quick, and with the multi-tool, I can remove these plots that aren't actual grow plots. Right, so we're going to do that. And again, you could use your drone. Be careful not to knock yourself into the holes that you're going to make here. But you could use the drone to pick up these blocks. Whoops, careful with the aim. Alright, now, if I want to now, I can place down all these grow plots. Hopefully, sometimes you have to take the drill and kind of knock some of this dirt out of the way, but it looks like it's going to let me put those down. Right. Oops. Now, that's a good start there. Now, here's the problem. I should have been a little more proactive, but we need a nutrient solution over here. Let's take that over here. And here's our refrigerator. So, what's really cool about this is, put all that in there. I'm going to need water to make more stuff. Alright, so let's, right here I put all that protein in there and I've got one nutrient solution and I'm missing purified water. So let's go back, take a little trip back to the other base and get the rest of our stuff and bring it over here closer. So I'm just going to hop over there this time because I want to bring everything this way, really. So I'm going to hit Shift F and that'll pick that up. It'll pick up your O2 converter. I'm going to grab all the stuff out of it that's still going there. And again, I'm going to Shift F this, and I'm going to F on the container and actually just hit that to bring it all over. Same thing with these. I'm going to pick them up, bring everything over. This one too. Whoops. That didn't have too much stuff, so I'll just do that to pick it up. Pick all that. I'm getting everything ready to go back over to this other place, and all of those are empty. And sure, but this is empty. All right, so I'm going to break out the multi-tool, switch to retrieve blocks. I'm going to grab all this good stuff. We really don't need those anymore, but we can dump them in the bigger ships later on. The only thing I'm going to keep is the armor locker. and put that right in the base so I can switch my armor when I need to. And then pick all this stuff up. And that is great. We're ready for action. All right. Okay. Then might as well take the hover vehicle over there as well. And oops, I got stuck on that. Might have to put some dirt in that hole accidentally. This is where I was getting that chip from, or taking apart that wrecked vehicle. So anyway, now we can, let's, all of this stuff, unfortunately, you can see it won't go on your base, so I just kind of like put it here in the front corner and let it continue doing its work. And same with the two O2 condensers and the heater and the tent. I think we have a clone chamber inside, so we don't really need the tent anymore, but we don't have a bed yet, so I'm going to put it down just in case I need to pass some time again. And go inside here. So let's get these condensers back online and all that. So I'm going to put shift click to get gasoline in those two. And I'm going to split the wood that's on me. Put it, whoops, sorted it for me. I'm going to put it back in these guys. And get them making 100 biofuel again with a control click. And that's pretty good. Now we have a base. And everything's back to working again. I'm going to bring a lot of the water over here. And this also needs stone to make what I'm about to try to make, I believe. I'm going to put rotten food in there. And let's just see now if this can make us, so this makes 2 seeds at a time. So basically I need 5 of these, because I'm going to put 9 protein plants in that plot, and then when they're done growing, and it takes 90 minutes for them to grow, but basically you get 5 from each one, so you can harvest 4, and that's enough to make 10 energy bars, and then the other 4 will still be growing, or you can harvest them all and stick them in the refrigerator and just keep getting ahead of yourself by making energy bars. So that's good. And by now the rounds, there's quite a bit of rounds made, so let's do that and put that in here. And then I also know that the base needs 30mm rounds, because 2 of those guns are chain guns and 2 of them are like cannons. So we have to go into our base here and pick. So we got quite a lot of points because I haven't been spending them now. Let's see, down here is sentry guns. That won't help us, but these projectile turrets will. So now inside of here I can make 30mm rounds. So let's make 40 of them or so, or 50 of them, and we're gonna get in a situation where we got to go farming iron and stuff again, but as always I'll do that in between. Again, a nice thing in the base here is we have this oxygen tank. We can put the oxygen bottles directly in it, and again, when you come back from space, if you kind of forgot, you can run over here to this O2 station and it'll fill you right up. So that is that. We're in good shape. Let's see, look at that. We've already got our seeds for protein. Now there's a lot of options here. You don't just have to make protein, okay? But this is the lazy man's way to do it as far as I'm concerned. So I'm going to plant all protein plants. You can make cheeseburgers, which is pretty easy with like 3 protein plants and 3 grains and 3 but this is kind of what I found to be the best way to kind of just keep the game flow going. It's not the most elegant way, but it keeps things going. So For right now, that's how I'm going to work this, and then maybe in the future I will make a change to that. But by the time, so I've got 7 bars in there and 5 here, and by the time those run out, I should really I'll probably be able to be fully sustained off of this. So no more real running around out here in the wilderness, you know, looking for these little blue plants. So the next thing that I'm going to try to do is I'm going to go ahead and make a cobalt moon, which was, oh yeah, and those things too, which was this ship right here. And I'm also going to make a jump ship because we're going to have that to get out of the local, away from the local planet, and go get some things we don't have to advance into making some of the capital vessels. And depending on what I can find, I might just go directly. So in games past, I have tried this Sky Fortress. It was kind of fun, but it's got a whole bunch of engines on the back and none anywhere else. So basically, it takes forever to decelerate once you've got it up to full speed in space. This Corvette's not much better. But then the third step that I took was this factory ship, which we can't even make until we're level 15. And this guy is really cool because it has 3 big storage containers on one side and 3 advanced constructors on the other side. It has a decent amount of guns, and that's really a nice ship to kind of get around the galaxy and be able to create stuff while you're out in space. And I also customized a little bit where I removed part of the floor and put 9 of these grow plots down inside of it, and that way I'm able to grow protein in space. So the only thing I'll ever have to come back to the planet for at this time is to get in my little oxygen in my oxygen crafters right here. However, eventually there's a way to get around that too. I just haven't gotten that far personally, so I'm still working out the details of how to do that. But that will do it for this video. In the next video, I'm gonna get those 2 little ships going. We're gonna go to the moon and find some what's called pentaxid, because that's what is required for that jump ship to actually be able to do a little bit of hyperspace. So that will be what we do. I will see you next time. Thank you very much, and I hope you're enjoying. Please leave any comments down below, and don't be too hard on me. Like I said, I'm new at this game too.